Don't really deserve it probably. Tottenham at it again. Ah dear. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever one it happens to be for you. Hope you are doing well. So, as I say, Tottenham are at it again. We went to Bodø Glimt, probably expecting, I would say, a win. And if we did get a draw, I think we'd all be saying fair enough at the beginning of the game. But I think it's the manner that we are getting these draws that is the problem. That first half, we were absolutely ridiculously poor. We were lucky not to be at least a couple of goals down. They had a penalty, which they missed. They had chances. They put on so much pressure. We were just letting them come back at us time and time again. We weren't really getting out of our half because basically every time we did try and get out, they'd either win the ball back or we'd make a stupid decision and kick it long and still not get the ball. So that means that we were just giving it back to them continuously. I thought at half time, maybe Frank will do something. He will kick them at the backside or he'll make changes. So he did the formal and not the latter. So they came out and it was the same story. Absolutely nothing changed. The only thing that changed was that they did get a goal and then we got one straight back, but it was disallowed because of the pull that Mickey had done. And so I obviously, fair enough, I wouldn't say that it was a bad decision. Like, I think that he pulled the player down that could have reached to prevent the goal. So, I mean, I've got no qualms with that one. Then they scored a second goal and we just didn't look like we were ever going to get back into the game. I was just, it was just one of those. Then we did get a little bit of luck, not actually that long after. Mickey van de Ven did score his goal. But again, I didn't really even feel anything. It's really weird because it's just like we don't really deserve it probably. We made some changes. Then I feel like we got a bit more hold of the game, but they still did have a good few chances that were pretty close. I think they hit the woodwork and we did also hit the woodwork with Bodø. I think he hit that woodwork, but they did too. They also had a shot that was very, very close. It went past the post, but it was very close. So they could have easily scored another goal, absolutely. And we then did get our second and we did equalise. And like I say, it was a bit of a scrappy goal. It bounced off of the keeper and Richards didn't really know much about it. And it hit him and went into the goal. They checked it for a long time because of the VAR, so it was offside. It was tighter than it looked maybe when they showed the replays, but they had the automated system, so I don't really know why it took so long, if I'm completely honest. It weren't even that complicated of a decision to make, so I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, we got that goal, scrappy. But like I say, I didn't really even celebrate. I just felt a bit meh about it all, really. The front three weren't good enough today. There were points where maybe perhaps they were okay-ish, but not great, like not good enough, basically. I think that we just didn't create enough. The defenders were continuously defending, not getting 5 minutes break. Because like I say, we just kept kicking it long and losing the ball and it just comes back at us. Or making sloppy passes, overhit passes. Again, just really sloppy. And a big part of the reason I'm frustrated is definitely the players. for sure, 100%. And yes, they showed fight to come back, which I like. I like that they're showing fight to come back, but we shouldn't have to be in these situations in the first place. And Thomas Frank, I think, put out a lineup that was good enough to win this game. So I'm not going to be disingenuous and say that I didn't believe that, because I did. But when he saw that it wasn't working, again, he needs to make changes quicker, in my humble opinion. Change something, because it just wasn't good enough. Like, we needed to change something. We had some younger players, I think, on the bench, some youth players. I guess, like, we could have maybe changed slightly, instead of just making more like for like real changes, if you like. I think Archie come on and he did all right. I don't think he was dreadful. Like I say, I think that when Kudos and Paulinia and Simmons come on, we definitely looked like we had a bit more control of the game. But overall, it wasn't great. It was not great at all. And we just can't keep doing this. Something has to give. Something has to change. And Frank needs to get into these players what he is wanting them to do. And really and truly, they should have been good enough to beat that team, like I say, without having to bring them players on in the first place. They could have come on maybe for 5 minutes at the end. That's fine, 5-10 minutes at the end. But they shouldn't have had to start when they started, because we just were looking absolutely pants overall. And as I say, we kind of got away with it in a way. We definitely got away with it. Got away with getting a point that probably Bodø Glimt will feel like we don't deserve. I haven't heard what Frank has said yet, but I'm hoping that he's not going to defend this performance, because I just don't think it's something you should be able to do. It's indefensible, in my opinion. For a majority of that game, we looked absolutely hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. But what matters is the points on the board. We need to get as many of them as possible before we get some more real tougher games. I'm not saying that wasn't a tough game, but the games that we should be really getting points from. So we must do that if we want to stay out of the part of the board where we have to play another game, or 2 games, I think it is, to qualify. So we don't want to do that. So we need to make sure that we fix up and do a lot better. Please let me know your opinion. I would love to know your thoughts on the game overall, and what you thought of Thomas Frank's decisions as well. If you don't agree with me, I'd love to hear that as well. Always happy to have that discussion. So please make sure you do that in the comments section for me. Take very, very good care of yourselves, and we'll speak again real soon.